Hey, Leo. All right, we're going to see what the next 2 weeks are like for Leos. So, mid-October reading. And welcome to my channel. All right, let's go. Okay. All right, Leos, it looks like right now we're in our power with the King of Wands. So we're leading. We've got our charisma on full power, and we're taking charge of whatever project we're working on or whatever passions we're currently in. Creative endeavors right now. So that's great. That's great energy to beginning with, right? We are completely in control of what's going on. However, just be aware in the next 2 weeks, with the strength card reversed here, we could get a little too cocky. Just be mindful of perhaps becoming too domineering of what you're doing or too arrogant, probably. Like, Leos get a bad rap that we want all the attention and want to boss everyone around. That's not the case usually. It's just we want things to be completely in our control, just sometimes due to anxiety, right? So just be mindful of that. The best action to take with the Queen of Cups reversed here, master your emotions. Like, there could be a lot going on in the next 2 weeks, so just keep your emotions in check. Make sure that you're not overflowing into other areas. Another thing could be in the distant past, because I'll look at the distant past to see what kind of influences are now creating that momentum that we are having in the next 2 weeks. We have the star reverse, so maybe some disappointments came through, and that's why you want more control for the next 2 weeks. It's just something didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and therefore you're looking to correct that. But just be mindful, because recently, with the Page of Wands reversed here, yeah, we may have been losing interest in a certain hobby or interest in a job field that you're working in, or even a relationship may be no longer of interest anymore because it's not working out the way you thought it would. And that's okay, because we're in the season of change, so we're allowed to evolve, our interests are allowed to change. And new dreams can take over, and that's fine. So just be aware of that. But even though there are changes involved, just be aware of like the emotions that can overflow, in the sense that it could be too not controlling. What would be the correct word here? Too overpowering, just too much, right? You want things to be in a balance with yourself. So future influences show me Seven of Wands, meaning you may get too defensive, which, I mean, in some cases, great. When it's in balance, it usually means that you are keeping your standards, you're reinforcing your boundaries. However, if you get too defensive, like, you could hurt someone if you don't compromise, right? So just be mindful of being too out of balance with your emotions and your expectations of others, right? But at the same time, I'm not telling you to lower your standards. It's just you might have to communicate and negotiate just a little bit more in order to get what you really want. Like, it's more, you attract more with honey than with vinegar. I think that's the English phrase for it. So just be mindful of that. Your current attitude is the Sun reversed. So you might be currently pessimistic, maybe you lost confidence in yourself. You may not be seeing things the way that you normally do. Usually Leos bring in a lot of joy and positivity. They're very outgoing, so you may not be that right now. But also that is okay. Because we are again in that season where we're slowing down, and you don't have to be positive all the time, right? You're allowed to have your lows as well. It's just, again, try to maintain that balance though. Your environment shows the Seven of Swords reversed, so it could be that someone or yourself tried to do something in a secretive way and it kind of backfired. Someone might have tried to pull the wool over your eyes and you noticed it for the way it was. You're probably calling them out on that. Just again, keep that balance so it doesn't reflect badly on you. Not that we should try to be appeasing to everyone. It's just because I'm thinking of a work environment. If there's a work environment and that you've lost interest in it and it no longer brings you joy and now you want to step out and you're noticing your coworkers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing and maybe they're gossiping behind your back, because that's the Seven of Swords energy here, and you're noticing it, don't create too much of a storm, because Leos, we want to bring things to light. But you want to make sure you keep that in balance. So try to do things, quote unquote, the right way. With the Two of Pentacles here, these are your hopes then. So the Two of Pentacles, you're juggling, you're changing priorities, you're trying to balance, which is a good thing, right? Because that's what I've been saying this entire reading, is try to keep that in balance. Stand your ground, yes. Stand your ground. But also be open to communication and compromising if that works in your favor, right? You don't want to burn too many bridges if you need those bridges. But the end result for October is the Hermit. So you're going to be doing a lot of self-reflection towards the end of October, trying to see if this is what you want anymore, because the Hermit is all about learning and isolation, but isolation in a way that allows you to have introspection and reevaluate what you really want to do now and learn more, because it's all about seeking your personal truths. And that is really important. And it's interesting because it's usually right after the Strength card, which you had here already. So you're going from one stage to another, and that's perfectly fine because that's the whole point of evolving, right? We're learning to see what is true to ourselves for towards the end of October, and that is all that I see here. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and thank you for watching, and take care.